You ever wake up, pour yourself a hot cup of coffee, and just know, deep down in your bones, that today, the universe is about to serve up something ridiculous? Yeah, well, that was me. One minute I'm staring out at my backyard, thinking about mowing the lawn and maybe catching a little peace before work, and the next, boom, my life turns into a front row seat for the best reality show this neighborhood's ever seen. And the villain? None other than Barbara, the self-declared queen of our HOA, the woman who could find a code violation in a Zen garden. I swear, Barbara doesn't just enforce the rules, she breathes them in like oxygen and exhale passive-aggressive notes. You want to hear how it all went sideways? Buckle up, because this one's got everything: irony, karma, a shed, and enough neighborhood drama to make a soap opera jealous. Here's how my perfectly legal, beige backyard shed, yep, just a regular OL shed, ended up exposing the grand empress of HOA hypocrisy herself, and why my neighbors still bring it up every dang time someone mentions home improvement. So picture this. I finally saved up enough for a little garden shed, nothing fancy, just somewhere to stash the mower, the rakes, all that stuff you don't want cluttering up the garage. I measured out the property lines, pored over the zoning laws, did all the homework, because I actually like following the rules, you know what I mean? Painted it to match the house, kept it neat, no wild colors or anything, just a regular shed for a regular guy. But the moment Barbara spotted it over the fence, you'd think I'd set up an illegal casino or started raising goats back there. She didn't even knock, just stomped right over to the county office, clutching that ever-present red notebook, and filed a formal complaint. Called my little shed dangerous, an eyesore, practically a threat to the entire block. I swear, if aliens had landed on my lawn, she'd be less offended. She used words like illegal structure and community standards, and even told the clerk I'd thrown up a public hazard. Her voice just echoes, even through concrete walls. Meanwhile, I'm at home, chewing my nails and imagining a big red violation sign slapped on my driveway. But here's where the universe decided to make things interesting. About a week later, this county inspector shows up. Big guy, neon vest, clipboard, whole deal. Looks like the kind of man who's seen things. Like, you ask him for a permit and he flashes back to nom. He walks around the shed, measuring, eyeing every board, checks the property line, reads over my permits with a frown so deep I think he's about to tell me I built it upside down. I'm sweating through my shirt, pretending to be calm, but inside I'm rehearsing speeches for a court date I don't even have yet. Right in the middle of all this, his phone buzzes. He checks it, grunts, and tells me he's got to investigate another urgent complaint just down the street. Guess whose address? That's right, Barbara. The look on my face must have been priceless, but I kept it cool, just nodded, offered him some water, and watched as he headed off, tape measure in hand. And let me tell you, karma must have had front row seats, because the universe does love a plot twist. Turns out, Barbara, while she was busy writing me up, had gone and built herself a sunroom, right out the back of her house, no permit, no inspection, and she'd even crossed the property line by a couple of feet. She really believed no one would notice. So, the inspector walks over, notebook at the ready, and starts snapping pictures, jotting down notes, the whole routine. And I'm standing there on my porch, trying not to bust out laughing while she stands frozen in her doorway, eyes darting between me, the inspector, and her sunroom like she's trying to rewrite the past with sheer willpower. The best part? The inspector's all business. He's measuring, asking questions, Barbara is stammering, insisting it's just a minor enhancement. Nothing serious, probably just a paperwork mix-up. Her voice gets squeakier the more he writes, until finally, he hands her a citation. And I just wave, nice and neighborly, on the outside anyway. Inside, I'm tap dancing. That afternoon, word starts to trickle through the grapevine. The shed saga goes viral, by suburban standards, anyway. Group chats light up, neighbors are suddenly all friendly, waving as they walk by, whispering, "Did you hear about Barbara?" And just like that, I become the unofficial hero of the block, the regular Joe who finally poked a hole in the HOA bubble. Barbara, of course, does not take defeat gracefully. The next morning, she's up early, striding up and down the sidewalk with her notebook, scribbling like she's decoding the Da Vinci Code, eyes darting over every lawn. She even tries to weaponize the HOA newsletter, pins this dramatic warning about unapproved sheds endangering property values, complete with an ominous, grainy photo. Only, in her rush, she sends out the wrong picture. Instead of my little shed, she attaches a photo of her own sunroom, the very same one that's now flagged as illegal construction. When the newsletter hits inboxes, I nearly spit out my coffee laughing. Neighbors start texting, screenshots start flying. Everyone's in on the joke except Barbara, who's now storming from house to house, clutching her notebook like it's the nuclear football, claiming it's all a misunderstanding, that the picture was doctored or taken out of context. Yeah, that happened. The irony is so thick, you could spread it on toast. It doesn't stop there. Turns out, one of the newer neighbors, nice retired couple, keep to themselves, happened to notice Barbara's construction crew sneaking around after dark, finishing up the sunroom. She tries to claim it was routine maintenance, but by then, the inspector's back, double-checking every inch. More citations. More embarrassment. I'm out there watering the grass, pretending I can't hear the commotion, but let's be honest, it's the best entertainment I've had in years. Barbara gets desperate. She calls a neighborhood meeting, sends out these invitations full of legal-sounding language, demanding accountability and community standards. I show up, partly out of morbid curiosity, partly because someone's got to see this mess unfold. Barbara is perched on a folding chair at the front, notebook in hand, eyes scanning for traitors. She starts lecturing about property values and rule breakers, really laying it on thick, when who walks in but the same county inspector. Silence. You could hear a pin drop. The inspector asks to see her improvements, again, while everyone else sips coffee, pretending not to watch. Barbara leads him out back. And I swear, every neighbor in the room drifts to the windows, peeking through the blinds like we're in the world's quietest flash mob. The result? More fines, more citations, and a very red-faced Barbara muttering about selective enforcement and unfair targeting. But the inspector, cool as ice, tells her the law's the law and nobody gets a pass. Meanwhile, I'm fielding jokes from neighbors. Hey, can we get a tour of the legendary shed? Think Barbara will put her house on stilts next? Even the mailman gets in on it, delivering my mail with a wink. The whole neighborhood's alive with stories, text threads, memes, even a running tally of how many times Barbara tries to rewrite history with her notebook. By the time the dust settles, Barbara's sunroom is the punchline of the year. My shed's become a local landmark, and I've learned a thing or two about patience, irony, and how sometimes all it takes to bring down a tyrant is to follow the rules better than they do. In the end, my shed's still standing, no fines, no drama. Just a simple building with a new reputation as the spark that lit up our sleepy cul-de-sac. And Barbara? Well, she's still out there, jotting notes, sending the occasional passive-aggressive email about proper lawn maintenance, as if karma didn't already drop a sunroom on her plans. You know, looking back, it's wild how a little structure out back can become the epicenter of justice, gossip, and neighborly legend. Makes you wonder, do you really know what's going on behind those fences? Or is everyone just waiting for the next Barbara to slip up? Let me ask you, where do you draw the line between keeping order and just craving control? Ever had a neighbor like Barbara? Or maybe you've been the rule follower who finally got the last laugh? Drop your story in the comments. Let's see how wild it gets. And hey, if this tale gave you a chuckle or made you shake your head, hit that like, subscribe, and stick around, because in this neighborhood, justice is always one shed away from a showdown.